Hello, beautiful beings of light. Welcome. My name is Aurora, and this is Discover the True You with the Cancer full, back it up, new moon, Cancer new moon for July 17th, 2023. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a lot of notes here. They're quite scattered. They're not astrological very much. A lot of it is just very interpersonal. Um, and I haven't actually read this since I wrote it back last week because so much has happened. So I want to know it's July 20th today when I'm recording this, 2023. And the theme for this week in Discover the True You is authenticity. And it's just so funny because, like, I'm so authentic that people don't even know what to do with me. And, like, it's something that I've had to learn how to work around and move through and, like, be myself through and, like, not allow external things to influence who I am as a being, right? And how I choose to show up in the world. And so, yeah, really mastering our sense of self while moving through different environments, right? And really, like, I'm Pisces, right? So, like, my sun is Pisces, and so I am everything and nothing, right? And so it's like hard for me, and as a woman, like, because women are chaotic energies, right? And so yeah, like, really, I guess just learning my own personal cycles and rhythms is what I'm saying, right? And learning who I am as an individual and how my body works. And that's a perfect leeway because, oh my God, so much about the body and nurturing and Cancer with loving ourselves and the home environment and things like this, right? And so it's like our body is our temple, our body is our home, and everything is an extension of that, right? Of our mind, of our heart, of our body, of everything that makes us who we are, right? And so all of this is being, like, remantled at this time, right? Dismantled, remantled, right? It's like we're being shown where in our life that we really need to take care of ourselves, actually. 2 weeks ago, we had the full moon in Capricorn, and it was all about actually the inner workings of a home, but like the maternal grandmother energy, like, and how she really enriches the quality of life when we can honor the crone energy, the wisdom of life, right? And so, like, we're kind of playing off of that energy into our own personal life now, right? As this like the Capricorn full moon was a more external look at our reality. And then when we go into this new moon, this Cancer new moon, it was a very, very introspective dismantling and remantling, right? That's now the process, right? So it's this dismantling to remantle, right? And that has to happen, right? And so if you're going through, like, a lot of difficulties at this time, understand that you're just shifting a lot at a cellular level, at an energetic level, and you're needing to implement new structures and regimes and ways to take care of yourself at this time so that you can be supported in this transformation, so that you can give yourself the support, right? And know and learn what it is that this body, that this mind, that this consciousness is asking for and needing, and providing that, right? Okay, wow, that was a beautiful little channel. So it was just 5:05 on the time. So 5 is all about change. So this is good. This is good. Okay. So I just want to kind of touch here on new moon and what the new moon phase is all about. So the moon cycles in general are about 28 days, which means it takes 28 days for the moon to do um, an entire cycle around the astrological clock, right? And so right now we're sitting at the new moon, and actually technically we were sitting at the new moon 3 days ago, because I'm recording this 3 days after, which is so interesting because, and the book just fell just when I said that. Yeah, there's this shift that okay, and then I'm gonna talk about the nodes. Okay, yeah, okay, this is so fun. So yeah, there's this shift that happened. Okay, so the 3 days before and 3 days after. So every full moon, every new moon, they're peak energies, right? And so like it actually has like this 7-day window, including the day that the peak energy is. So on the day that the full moon is, or on the day that the new moon is, 3 days before and 3 days after, energetically, we're feeling it here on Earth as human beings. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, we're feeling that. And so to tap into these energies and to harness them and to use them to your advantage, to heal and to bring awareness to yourself, is just so potent. So having this awareness of the full moon and the new moon, the peak days, and then 3 days before and 3 days after, taking note of like, where's your energy at? Are you really noticing that like you start feeling more emotional or more like chaotic, less grounded when the full moon comes? Or maybe you feel like, just start noting, okay? Like just start noting how you're feeling during these two astrological cycles. So during the full moon and the new moon, it's such a great way to start connecting in with ourselves, just checking in with ourselves. Every 2 weeks we get to check in and say, hey, what's up? And then the more that you can refine that connection, the deeper you'll want to go with it, right? So it's like, oh, okay, cool, now I know how the full moon affects me, now I know how the new moon affects me, and it'll be different every time, right? Like it's not a static experience, it's a dynamic, right? It's dynamic, it's moving, it's evolving, it's changing. And so when you start to cultivate a relationship with this celestial body that governs our emotions, it really helps for us to be able to have a greater awareness of our emotions, right? And so with that, we just had the new moon 3 days ago, right? From when I'm recording, July 17th, 2023. It's now July 20th, 2023. There has been some serious shifts that have gone down this last new moon. And that's why I just explained all that to you about the 3 days before, 3 days after, because we're now 3 days after the full moon. The new moon here in Cancer. And so we're kind of coming out of those energies now. And here I am, like now able to ground in this information. I've tried to record it a couple of times now, and each time I've just been like, nope, not right now, not right now. And so here I am doing it, divine timing. Okay, so let me back up here real quick. The new moon, okay? So the new moon, it's the beginning phase of the cycle, right? So the beginning phase of the cycle is when we plant seeds, it's when we set our intention, and it's when we shed what isn't serving us, okay? And so we are in this time that we just went through and still are processing. We're going to be processing it forever, really. It's like a continuum, right? It's like a continuum of life, of experiences, right? And so with this new moon energy in Cancer, it's really asking us, like, where in our life um are we needing to let go of certain things, certain people, certain experiences? Like, what is not serving me any longer? Like, what makes me feel so crazy insane that I need to let it go for my own health, for my own peace, and for my own well-being? For me, it was emotions. I have had a lot of pent-up emotions stored in my body and stored in my heart. That's what I'm letting go of. That's what I don't want to house in my body any longer. That's what doesn't feel like home to me anymore, right? So that's the stuff that I'm shedding away with this new moon. And what I'm calling in, what I'm cultivating, is just like, honestly, nice, fresh, deep breaths, and like to nourish my body. Like, I've set up an entire new regime for myself. I've printed out little journal prompts. I've printed out things so that I can track my food. I've printed out all these different tools that I can use now so that I can get my mind, my body, my spirit, everything aligned, because I have been so not okay and no idea how to help myself. And so this is me just going, boom, okay, let's do it, Aurora. And it was just 11:39 on the time, and that for me represents endings, okay? And so it's like we're ending this and we're refocusing on something else, right? So now my seed planting that I'm putting this new moon in Cancer is home. Like, I want to feel home. I want to feel peace. I need to nourish myself again, okay? I have neglected myself for far too long in so many ways, and it's taken me all that time of neglecting myself and finding myself and recreating myself and all of that for me to do this next boom that I'm about to do, where I'm about to align every single aspect. So, like, it's pretty next level. But that's not what everyone's being asked to do. Everyone is just simply being asked to start looking at what isn't working in my life and what is working in my life, and what can I add to my life that's going to help other things work better. Okay, like, where is my focus? How can I change my diet? How can I educate myself on diet, on nutrition, on what is healthy, what is not healthy, right? Especially in the food industry. And then sleep. Sleep is a huge one. And then what's the other one? Because I had a burp, and then I was like, oh, like, yeah, speaking our truth is a good one. So I'll just go with that. Journaling, right? Connecting in with yourself, having practices that are going to nourish you. Like finding value in nourishment, right? And not in depletion. It's like, stop trying to find the quick fix and start learning and understanding, like, how the human body works, and that it's biology, that this is not a computer. We're not fast tracking. You can't fast track your life. You can't fast track your experiences. You can't fast track everything. You have to learn to sink into the body and actually learn to trust yourself and to trust life and to nourish yourself and to understand what matters and to refocus and all of these things, right? And so that's really what we're being called to do at this time. And again, integrating that grandmother wisdom in with this mothering wisdom. It's like you're the child, the grandmother is helping the mother raise the child, and it's like the ancestral line and how we all got here, right? And so it's like really honoring that, really honoring what your parents taught you, really honoring what your like what life has taught you in general, right? And like implement it and go, okay, these might be the ways that like life hasn't shown up for me, or I feel that life hasn't shown up for me. But these are the ways that I'm going to show up for me now so that life can now show up for me, right? Instead of falling into all of these limitations that we put on ourselves, it's like, why aren't we just choosing to implement better structures that are going to nourish us, right? But again, we don't know where to look. We don't know where to ask the question. We don't even know that there's a problem yet. There's so many things. And so again, it's just stepping into that beginning phase and calling in new opportunities and setting your intention, planting the seeds of what you're calling in, and like taking that action, and then like letting go and taking that inaction of things that aren't serving you. Okay. So that was good. Sorry, I haven't channeled in so long. It's so fun. Okay, so I haven't even gotten to like the Cancer stuff, the written stuff yet, but I want to talk about the lunar node shifting here now. I'm not like, again, I'm not an astrologer here, guys. This is something I claim. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm evolving. I like to learn astrology through present moment awareness. And so what that means is like just kind of observing where the planets are at this time and seeing how they're affecting us. Instead of like going to learn the whole language, I'm kind of just peeking into each moment and learning it as I go, right? And now I've been doing that for years, but again, I've taken a break from my spirituality and I've gone into my human, and now I'm reintegrating my spirituality and my human together. And so a lot of this stuff, like this is only my second moon update, which is why this is so crazy, since starting Discover the True You. And of course it is. Of course, divine timing, right? Okay, so I recommend that you actually do your own research on this. And I recommend it because I'm not actually, like I haven't put the time and energy into this, but like into fully understanding this. But it's just so fascinating how it's all aligned, and this is a reset point, right? So this is a reset point for the lunar nodes, okay? The nodes, well, lunar is the moon, nodes is the north and the south poles, right? Of the where it's at. Let me read, because I don't want to say north and south because that's creating a thing. Lunar nodes. It's because it changes, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm stressing about it anyway. So basically what I'm saying here is that the lunar nodes are resetting. And so it's in two different ways that I can understand, okay? And one of them is that we're closing off an 18-year karmic cycle. And that was on the full moon in Capricorn. We're closing off okay, cool. Sorry, I was just catching up because again, I haven't read any of this stuff, so I'm just kind of I'm trying to see exactly where I'm going. Yeah, so okay, so reset. So the full moon in Capricorn that we just had, okay? The full moon in Capricorn that we just had here in July, I think it was the 3rd or something. That was closing off this 18-year karmic cycle. Now remember that the moon rules our emotions, okay? So for the last 18 years, a whole cycle, okay, that the moon's gone on, okay? This Cancer new moon is setting the foundation moving forward for the next 18 years. So what I'm saying, this full moon in Capricorn that we just had that was closing it off is that grandmother crone energy that I'm speaking of. This seed planting, this new moon in Cancer, is this mother energy that I'm talking about. And that's the beginning. So we're ending the last 18 months, picking up the wisdom, and we're stepping in to the next 18 years, integrating, implementing, and nourishing ourselves from those experiences. That's the figure 8. That's the 18 years on either side. And right now we're in this inhale, right in the center point, right? And so I have here that the lunar nodes change every 18 months. And this is the Aries Libra axis. It is a new astrological new year, okay? So I wanted to note that because the lunar nodes change every 18 months, right? Which is why I'm saying like the lunar nodes are at the Aries Libra axis. They say that this happens every 18 months, but I'm talking about a greater cycle beyond that 18-month cycle that's going into an 18-year cycle. And again, like, I don't know all of the stuff on this, but this is why I'm mentioning it, because it's just like the fact that I started on this Capricorn full moon and this Cancer new moon and where we're at with this lunar nodal point, and it's just like it's so excited because of all the divine timing of it all. And so I'm sharing that because it's so important. It's so key. I just don't have it in me, especially not in this video, to go into all of it, but it is so significant to realize that we're really in this beautiful, beautiful, bittersweet reset point where all that once was is crumbling and we're now rebuilding. Okay, and it's starting on an emotional level, which emotions are the core. It's our soul, it's our instincts, it's like everything, right? And so it's going to be intense. It's going to be intense. It's going to affect us psychologically, it's going to affect us emotionally, it's going to affect us in all the ways, right? And so that's why I'm here. I'm here, guys. I'm showing up for you, for me, to channel this information, to offer guidance, and to really honestly help you guys and help myself nurture ourselves, our lives, like really, truly. Okay, so now I'm gonna finally start getting into the Cancer energy, okay? So I have been talking about it, it's very obvious, like if you know Cancer energy, and again, like I keep saying the same stuff over and over again, so if you can follow the theme throughout this video, you're gonna understand what Cancer energy is, but I'm gonna go through it specifically anyway, okay? So I want to start by saying that Cancer is the home sign of the moon, okay? So each celestial body, each like planet, has its own home sign. So like where it resides, where its home frequency is. Cancer's home sign is the moon, okay? And so Cancer is a very feminine, kind, loving, nurturing, tender energy, okay? It rules the home life, it rules family, it rules our ancestry, our generational trauma, as well as our generational gifts, okay? And so this is going to rule themes that are very close to our heart, okay? So this, at this time, we're going through immense heart healing. Okay, so immense heart healing is happening, and it's this breaking open and this breaking down that we're going through right now, and it is excruciatingly painful. But what happens after that is the breakthrough, okay? So yes, you're breaking down. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's awful. but you're contracting. You're going into the part of the phase where it has to happen. You have to contract. Destruction has to happen. Things have to stop working in order for change to happen, right? They can kind of work for so long until they just don't anymore. And then you have to change. That's what we're going into at this time. And so in that cocoon, the chrysalis, our own inner home that we're creating, we're learning, we're healing, that is where we're going to heal all that pain, all that hurt, have to heal the resentment, the bitterness, the inability to fathom the injustice in the world. All of these things are coming up. And it's because your heart is coming online, actually. It's like your heart hasn't felt. You don't really feel, because like we live in a world where like, fuck that. And so actually it's time now. That grandmother wisdom is being activated from the past, and we now have to step into the next side of the figure 8 motion that is happening right now. It's time for the other side of the pendulum to swing. Okay, and so as much pain and suffering as you've gone through is as much joy and pleasure is what you're going to go through, okay? It's just that you have to go through it. You have to go through it, and that's just it. Okay, so yeah, so with this Cancer energy, we are finding and learning to feel home within ourselves, within our past experiences, within what our heart's desires are, within everything that we have that has created us to be us. We're learning to feel home within that. And that's due to a heart healing that's going on. Okay, so we're going to have a deep need to feel safe and secure. So anything that is not feeling safe and secure isn't going to work anymore. And so it's like all of us are going to be going into this like really, it's dark night of the soul time, guys. Hello, Aurora has arrived. It's a dark night of the soul. And so it's not fun. It's not a good time. It's the time when you're on your knees begging, crying, saying, God, I need you. God, where are you? Those are the moments that we're going to be accessing. And so how are you going to nurture yourself in that? That feeling is never going to go away, and that feeling has been through lifetimes with you. And so you're now having this deep need, this deep desire, this deep like incessant shutting down of self so that you can feel safe and secure. And if you don't have tools, if you don't have things that are set up to help you to feel safe and secure, then you're going to shut down and break down into yourself until you can learn how to show up and nurture and love yourself in the ways that you're needing. So expect to feel extra emotional as nostalgia from the past comes back up to be remembered and fully processed, okay? So you're going to get triggered emotionally. Your memories are going to come up, but when they come up, know that it's coming up just to be released, right? And when you're stuck on the ones that you're stuck on, do the work to release it. Go into it more and ask, why do I keep having this thought? What is going on? What do I need? What is my inner self asking of me? Okay, access to our own emotional needs and the capacity to nurture ourselves and others and defend and know our sense of security. So gift ourselves extra rest, space, and solitude. So deep listening, security, and self-worth. So how safe and secure do you feel? How safe and secure you feel reflects your sense of worthiness, okay? here, this chakra right here, because this is our nourishment. This is our connection to source, to our higher selves, to our physical body. It's our self-worth, it's our power center, it's also our nourishment, okay? And so that's a reflection of your base chakra, of your security and self-worth here, right? So it's like we're like playing with these two energies, with safety, security, and self-worth, and our heart chakra, like it's like all these energies, and emotion, right? The sacral. And so it's like the lower chakras, the heart and lower chakras are really being invigorated at this time so that we can start implementing different structures and procedures that nourish us in our life. Okay, so choose what makes us feel home. Okay, I think for the most part, I'm going to just read through this because I did channel a lot, and then whenever I feel like I'm going to stop, I will. Okay, so yeah, choose what makes us feel home. This is a time of relocation. I have external or internal though, right? So it's like I said, it can be with people, places, things outside of us, but it can also be our emotional state, and it can also be our thought patterns, right? So when I'm saying it's a time for relocation, it's again saying it's a time to release what isn't serving and to implement what is. It's a time to follow your intuition, because like things aren't going to make sense, and you cannot make sense of them because emotions aren't something that you can make sense of. Emotions are just an experience that we have to learn to go through, really, truly. So emotions are connected in with our intuition, but they're also connected in with our trauma. So that's the fine line of purification, of asking yourself, is this coming from my traumatized self, or is this coming from my healed self? And keep moving towards your healed self. So what is your intuition calling you to do? Okay, so it says Chiron is in Aries and the moon is squaring it. So this is forcing us to deal with trauma, especially from childhood. So this is deeply trapped, unprocessed emotions. So the internal fight of old and new, asking us to let go of inner judgment. So connect to kind, soft energy of Cancer. So how can we mother ourselves, right? So it's like there's this inner fight of the old and the new, and it's like because of the judgment, because of the criticism, because of the inability to let go and to trust in the unknown, and all these things that the ego really struggles with. It's like the Cancerian energy is here to support us and to say, well, listen, like I'm going to speak to you kindly, and I'm going to nourish you, and I'm going to take care of you, and this isn't going to be a traumatic shift and change. I'm going to make sure that you're supported in all the ways, because I'm not actually interested in anything outside of my home, aka my vessel, my being right now, because I realize I can't do shit unless I'm taking care of me. Breathe that one in, right? So then how can we mother ourselves, right? And then we have deep inner conflict. So which wolf are you feeding, right? So like, which wolf are you feeding? Are you feeding your shadow? Are you feeding your dark? Or are you feeding your light self? Are you choosing to better yourself? Are you choosing to notice the parts of yourself that aren't healthy and choosing better for yourself? Or are you not? Like, which are you feeding? And the actions that you're taking and the results that you're getting are going to show you. So if you don't know, then you just simply observe yourself. Stop moving, stop reacting, stop doing what you always do, and just go like, well, what if I just didn't do what I always did and stopped? And it's other things that we're going to take care of myself. Like, this is the energy that we're in right now. And this all comes from this deep inner conflict of like, I can't do this anymore. So then sitting in stillness and asking ourselves, are we choosing love or are we choosing fear, right? So and then keep choosing love, okay? Keep asking yourself, and this will be refined, and this will mean something different each time and each moment that you ask, right? And so it's like that's why it's always important to come back to it. Like, am I choosing love or am I choosing fear? Where am I at? Like, how am I moving through the world? Am I trusting life or am I not trusting life? And then why, right? Like, if it's like something happened, then that's okay. Something happened, and like work through that feeling, work through that experience, call in the help that you need so that you can live a life that is healthy, happy, holy, right? Like you deserve. But do you think you're worthy? And do you feel secure enough, safe enough within yourself to go and create that for yourself? So connect in with our inner home. What are your deepest desires, right? And so this is something that's gonna probably be coming up over the next, definitely the next 6 months, the rest of this year, in understanding what's working for us and what's not, and implementing and integrating, and keep refining and coming back to ourselves, because like we're not a static thing, we're a dynamic thing. We're always changing, we're always evolving, we're always growing, we're always shrinking, we're always moving. So it's like trying to be one thing isn't going to work, and that might be your problem too, is that you have to be many things, and you have to learn to master many things as being human, and mastering being human. So coming at it from like a sense of innocence and childlike curiosity is important, but also coming at it from this mothering energy of like, okay, like you have to do these things in order to get to where you need to be. So where do we want to be? And how are we going to implement what we need to get there? Okay, so yeah, purifying and cleansing the last 18 years of our life, and that's in relation to this axis shift, this nodal axis shift that's happened. So the moon in Cancer, we're going into the void of the unknown, okay? And again, that's our emotional self, the void of our unknown, right? And the womb, that's also the womb. And so we're going into the womb, into ourselves, into withdrawing our senses, pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses, and creating that safe space within ourselves so that we can hear the whisper of our soul, so that we can hear what we're needing at this time. Don't run away from the things that you're afraid of. Allow it. Allow that void, right? Because there's like this push-pull that's like happening with you and your pain. But when you go to meet your pain, that's when it dissolves. And it's like, thank you for meeting me. That's all I fucking wanted. Just wanted you to meet me. Stop pretending like I'm not here. That's the void. The void is everything and nothing too, right? It's where everything exists and nothing exists. And so it's terrifying. You never know what's going to come up. It's the unknown. But we're being called to surrender to the unknown and come home to ourselves. So when we can surrender to the unknown and come home to ourselves, create a solid structure, feel secure in who we are as people, as individuals, and then be on to our family and friends, then you're in that Cancer energy, okay? So not only are you planting your seeds at this time, you're also actually needing to nurture your seeds, okay? So regardless of what they may become. And so it's like plant the seed, nurture the seed. Plant the seed, nurture the seed. Plant the seed, nurture the seed. Let life happen. What grows will grow. But make sure you don't just plant the seed and walk away. You have to make sure that you're nourishing the seed as well. Releasing control. Oh my God, this has been insane for me. Releasing control, trusting in life and the divine plan. Surrender to the divine flow. But that means you need divine structure in your life to have the divine flow. So make sure that you're doing the right things in your life to implement the structure so that the divine flow can come through. Which again, it's taking care of yourself, guys. That's really what I'm saying over and over again. Allow yourself to let go, especially emotionally at this time. It's time to surrender to the void. It's time to take away from the movement and the action, and to open our heart to be nurtured, loved, and received. So you don't need to keep going everywhere. You actually just need to be still to hear your heart. And that's why a lot of these, like, meditation and yoga and journaling and going out in nature and exercising and sleeping and just taking care of ourselves is really important at this time, because, and like, I'm including that in the stillness, because it's like these are the monotonous, mundane things that we have to do every single day that we may not really want to, but that's the divine structure that's going to allow the divine to flow through you, right? Because again, the divine is upholding your highest vibration, right? And so you have to nourish yourself and give yourself the love and the right movement. So it's like it says, take time away from movement and action and put more time into slowing down, creating space, listening to your thoughts, listening to your emotions, listening to your body. Maybe your body's just tired and it needs a break. So give it that. And then open your heart to be nurtured, loved, and received. It's a deep time of self-forgiveness and to be vulnerable, to be open, and to come home to yourself. So just being honest with yourself over and over again, just being honest with you. Forgive yourself for all the pain and all the suffering that you've gone through. It's not your fault. It's not their fault. It's no one's fault. Take the blame out. Forgive, be vulnerable, be open, and just come home to yourself. So again, because Cancer's moon is, or Cancer's, or moon and Cancer are home signs. Cancer is the moon's home sign. That's what's giving me that coming home to ourselves energy and focusing on nurturing, giving, and receiving. So we're processing this fear of rejection, this wishy-washy about goals. It's like, nope, we need that divine structure so that the divine can flow through. So that fear of rejection just isn't happening anymore, because you're now integrating, when I feel rejected, I need to look at my feeling and not the situation. I have to know that that's redirecting me, but why am I feeling this way? So it's like, don't fear rejection. Look at that feeling of what that experience offered you and go, oh, okay, so I don't need to be afraid of that again. I just need to learn and grow from that, right? And then set new goals. You know, that's what growing and learning and evolving is all about. So expect change and transformation through emotional empowerment, right? So through giving yourself the space to feel, and the grace and the love and the compassion and the kindness, this is going to catalyze change and transformation in your life. So empowering yourself emotionally allows for you to experience actually rapid transformation in your life. Because the emotion is like deeply stored within us, right? Like the emotion is connected with the psychology and the soul, right? So it's like so profoundly, deeply embedded into who you are. So when you can empower yourself emotionally, it's actually working on the soul level for you. So releasing control of when and how. Your focus is to realign and to readjust your frequency. That's it. So release control of what and how. Okay, I don't need to know what and I don't need to know how, but I do need goals. And what are my goals? My goals are to realign and readjust my frequency. And what does that mean? My thoughts, my emotions, my heart. What am I putting out to the world? Everything about me. That's your job. That's now your job, is to readjust your frequency and realign your frequency. And that's simply self-care. So we're learning how to take care of ourselves, finally. So allow newfound wisdom to flow through you, okay? And so while all this is happening, you're going to be getting so much new perspective, so much new information, so many new awarenesses, and it's going to be overwhelming. But what I'm hearing is to not grab onto all of it and to just know like that this is just flowing through you at this time and that you always have access to it, and allow the wisdom of that to flow through you. So as you're realigning and readjusting, aka self-care, you're going to have this newfound wisdom flowing through you, and you're going to be like, oh my God, this is crazy. And the universe is going to start talking to you, and you're going to be like, this is so cool. And like, you're just going to feel like yourself, actually. And be aligned and have all these synchronicities that are aligning for you. So passion is wanting to be birthed from the void and the pain, healing our heart and inner child. Well, isn't that a mic drop? That's my last line I have. So passion. So from this pain and from the void, so from that place of everything and nothing, and from our pain, because that's when we can take our pain, that's everything, and make it nothing, so that we can transmute it to heal our heart and our inner child, and to hold space for that little person inside of us that's afraid. The emotional part. Passion wants to come through. Creativity. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. So that's what wants to come through, is the passion and the creativity. So as you're cultivating these practices that are slowing down your mind, slowing down your heart, slowing down your spirit, slowing down everything, slowing down reality, you're healing the pain and you're going into the void, and then that void becomes the womb of creation, when we cannot be afraid of the darkness and we can go, oh my God, that's where life is formed, fucking A. Then it gets so beautiful and it gets so fascinating. And so at this time, really taking care of ourselves and going into that pain and going into the void, going into the unknown, going into the uncertainty, asking questions, being curious, knowing it's time to heal, knowing it's time to change, but not knowing where to go, and just being okay with the unknown. Okay, I don't know where to go, and I'm okay with that, but what I'm calling in is the awareness of where to go. Okay. And through this, we're healing our heart and our inner child, which makes sense because the mother is coming through to nurture us and love us and support us with that grandmother maternal wisdom crone energy hovering over us and showering us with more love and more wisdom and more cookies. Okay. Wow. So beautiful. Okay. So I think really main message here is like heart healing, actually. Like, yes, it's nurturing and self-care and all that, but like heart healing is what I want to kind of end it off with, and just understanding that the pain and the pleasure of life and the bittersweetness of it is actually just life. And so when we can move through it and learn to support ourselves and to not take it personal, and to know that we all have trials and we all have tribulations, but how can we not pool that out to the world? How can we take our pain and hold ourselves in it instead of leading everywhere? Wow, well, isn't that beautiful? So thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed that. And that is the Cancer new moon. So again, that is for July 17th, 2023. These are timeless though, so again, you can come back at this at any time, and the main message for you is going to be that it's time to take care of yourself, but also that there's like these massive completions endings completing, and massive beginnings starting, and it's like this huge point. And so yeah, it's just time to nourish ourselves, time to nurture ourselves, time to stop doing the things that aren't serving us anymore and to start doing the things that are. So I send you all the love, and I will see you next week for some more juicy information. So bye.